All right, if this is true, I'm actually very excited for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team in terms of their head coach. Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, great defensive coordinator, gets his defense fired up to play for him. He did a really good job this year with a young team to work with. Um, as far as being a head coach goes, again, very excited. I think it's a great move for Notre Dame. He used to play for Ohio State back in 2007, so he's actually probably going to be very well connected with the players in terms of age and what's being in touch with today's football world, especially college football. Um, it's a good hire, but I also think it's a 50-50, and I'll give you two examples. Manny Diaz for Miami and Kirby Smart for Georgia. Let's look at the bad part. Manny Diaz, a former defensive coordinator for Miami, very good defensive coordinator, one of the top defenses back in 2017. Had his players, they love him. They used to love him. They play for him. Now he's the head coach. It's not the same thing. That some people actually want him fired. Versus the other good part was Kirby Smart, former defensive coordinator for Alabama, under Nick Saban, was never a head coach. Then he went to Georgia, and look where Georgia's at now. So that's a prime example of someone who's good to be a head coach and somebody who's not. And then you can look at other position coaches like Sam Pittman from Arkansas. He used to be an offensive line coach for Georgia. Now he's the head coach, and now his team went from winning 2, 3 games, zero SEC games, to now winning 7 or 8 games, being in the top 25, finishing with a pretty good bowl game. So you never know what happens, but I think he's a good hire. It's a good risk, if he can connect with the players like he does, obviously get them to play for him. Again, he's had defensive coordinator success at Cincinnati and now Notre Dame. I think it's a good time for him to be a head coach, and I wish him the best. Go Irish! I'm not an Irish fan, but I respect Notre Dame, and I think he's a good hire. If he's for the players, he gets the players to buy into him. He can get everything out of him. Who knows what can happen? I think good things will happen with Marcus Freeman as the head coach of Notre Dame.